Good morning and welcome to the Mirror Newsroom, where Chelsea are on easy street, having won in Porto last night ahead of a huge game against Arsenal at the weekend. More of that in a bit, but first a few more bits and pieces from last night. And it was an enjoyable evening if you were a Besiktas fan, but not if you were a Man United fan. They lost their 8-year unbeaten record in Europe after they were sunk by the Turkish club at Old Trafford. It prompted some of the papers to write off some of the young players that featured for the Premier League champions last night. But I think that's a bit unfair. I think people forget the fact that United tumbled out of European competition fairly regularly in the early 90s as the likes of Giggs, the Nevilles and the Beckhams of this world found their feet. So I think there may be a little bit of waiting to do to see if the young players at United do indeed come of age. There should be time yet for the likes of Welbeck, Makeda and the other youngsters now at the club. Now it's a massive weekend of football both here in England and in Spain, where Cristiano Ronaldo will be back for Real Madrid's monster match against Barcelona on Sunday night. El Clasico is very, very hard to call, but I reckon Real Madrid might just shade it with Leo Messi not at his full fitness for Barcelona. Early on Super Sunday, Everton will play Liverpool in with both Merseyside clubs in crisis. Everton were crushed last night by Hull, and even though they made a late rally after half-time, they were already 3-0 down. There was a lot of work for David Moyes to do at Goodison Park. He was very annoyed when people asked him if he was considering his position, given that they've won just one of their last 10 games. And it makes it hard to call the match against Liverpool, because both sides are going to be bang up for fighting this one out, with Rafa Benitez in even deeper trouble if he doesn't take all 3 points. Remember, you can follow all 3 games here on mirrorfootball.co.uk, and you can get the best match reaction on Monday morning from our chief reporter Martin Lipton and our columnist Stan Collymore. Now, Chelsea against Arsenal. Chelsea defence is rock solid, but Arsenal have got attacking options all over the pitch, and I think the match is going to be another which is too close to call. It's at the Emirates Stadium, and I think Arsenal are going to win simply because they have to. To prevail, they're going to have to stop these two, Drogba and Anelka, on the back of the Daily Express. This picture taken from last night's win over Porto, as we mentioned before. But I want to point you today in the direction of some interesting transfer news, because our own Daily Mirror reports today that Arsenal have been in for the Real Madrid and former Manchester United striker Ruud van Nistelrooy. It looks as though Liverpool are actually set to win that race. I don't know why. If I was Van der Man, I would go to the Emirates, but that's just me. We're hearing lots and lots of you are logging on to the story on our site at mirrorfootball.co.uk. Around 18,000 of you at the last count. Check it out for all the details from our man on Merseyside, David Maddock. Now, another story proving popular today is the news that Spurs are interested in the Manchester City defender Micah Richards. He'd cost around £8 million, but it's well documented that Mark Hughes at City is going to move for defensive reinforcements. Spurs are alongside Aston Villa in looking to nip in for Richards. Some stories from around Europe for you, and the Wolfsburg coach Armin Veh left frustrated last night after his side blew the chance to book their place in the last 16 of the Champions League last night. They were beaten 2-1 by CSKA Moscow, leaving them instead with work to do against Manchester United in a fortnight's time. Stuart Downing boosted his chances of making a home debut for Aston Villa against Spurs on Saturday after a successful reappearance for the reserves last night. Remember, he moved to Villa Park for £12 million way back in the summer, but he's been injured ever since then. We told you already about Ronaldo coming back from injury for El Clasico on Sunday. Well, he's been speaking to Spanish television, Telemadrid, about the match. He came on late in the 1-0 win for Madrid over Swiss side FC Zurich, and he said afterwards, I'm tired, but I'm still not at 100%. But I think I will return to be how I was before the injury, scoring goals, having good games and helping the team. And a story in all of our papers this morning has been confirmed at around 9:15 this morning. Everton's plans for a new stadium at Kirkby have been rejected by the Communities and Local Government Secretary John Denham. That's being confirmed on the Everton website today. Just time to remind you that Football Spy is back next Thursday, December the 1st, so make sure you tune in for that. And just to warm you up, here's a couple of transfer rumours for you that have reached us in the Mirror newsroom. Now, we're hearing that Manchester United are taking a very long look at the highly rated Ajax and Uruguay striker Luis Suarez. He's 22, he'd cost around £45 million. I'm not sure that United would pay that, but the word is that United like him very much indeed. The Sun say that Sunderland are in for the Athletic Bilbao midfielder Fran Yeste. He's 29 and he's out of contract next summer. And the new Peterborough boss, Mark Cooper, has signed the fantastically named Exodus Gigan on loan from Kettering. He's a defender. Lots and lots of football transfer gossip when Spire returns next week. More MFTV for you tomorrow. And look out too for the Mirror Football podcast, which is on later today. I'll see you next time.